The story begins with a flashback where a little girl, Sarah, is eager to meet her father, Alex Stafford, for the first time. But when he came, her happiness turned into despair. She finds out that he never wanted her as she was his mistake. When her mother was pregnant, he told her not to have this child. Still, she chose Sarah. Unfortunately, this choice led her to live a miserable life. One day, her father threw them out of the house. As they had no money, her mother sold her jewelry. But it doesn't worth much. Soon, in order to fulfill their basic needs, her mother stepped into the dark world of hookers. Yet, life remains unkind. Her mother fell sick, and before leaving the world, she told Sarah that all men want is pleasure. As a result, Sarah began to hate the man and bury her feelings. Now, Sarah was left alone with an alcoholic man named Rab. He wasn't able to raise her since he had no money. So, he walked into a place seeking young girls, and a woman welcomed them. She advised him to leave and never return, but the man didn't listen to her and walked upstairs with Sarah. There, they met Duke, who runs this place. At first, he seemed polite, but then he strangled Rab in front of Sarah's eyes. After that, he turned to Sarah and told her that from now on, her name would be Angel. He completely took her life under his control. In a few years, Angel grew up and became a valuable source of income after getting trapped in the dark world of hookers, where she had to deal with countless strangers every day. This led her to become a high-class lady in town. In the present, we are introduced to a man named Michael, a hard-working farmer who lives alone in the countryside. Besides working on the farm, he visits church on a regular basis to thank the Lord for everything he has. One day, he prays to God for someone with whom he can share his life and wealth, since he believes when the time comes, God will guide him to the right person. A few days later, Michael goes in town to sell his crops. While working, he sees a woman named Angel and feels something special in his heart. He asks one of his friends about her and gets shocked when he finds out that Angel is the most expensive hooker of the town. People often buy tickets to spend time with her, but only the lucky ones get the opportunity. Despite this, Michael didn't change his mind. The following day, he decides to meet her. He pays lots of money to see Angel, in the hope that she will fall in love with him. When he walks inside, he notices that Angel is standing undressed and ready to serve him. Michael turns around, but Angel tells him not to be afraid or shy even if he has a wife. He clarifies that he did not come here to sleep, but because he loves her and wants to get married. Angel found that funny and thought he was crazy. Before he can say anything else, Angel asks him to leave as his time is up. Next day, Michael pays double to rent some time in order to convince her to marry him. But Angel doesn't trust him as she thinks all men are cheaters and wants the same thing. Again, time runs out and he's unable to convince her. Michael decides to try again, but his friend advises him to stop, otherwise he will lose everything. However, Michael does not care and goes back to see her. This time, Angel gets annoyed and states that she doesn't like him because he is just a farmer. Her words upset him, so he decides to return his home. Later, Angel realized that maybe she was worth more than being a hooker. She goes to her owner and asks for her payment as she wants to quit this work. The owner gets furious and sends man to teach her a lesson, so she can understand that this is her reality which she can never escape. On the same night, Michael feels anxious, so he decides to meet Angel. When he visits her place, he finds her in miserable condition, so he decides to take her home. Once again, he asks Angel to marry him, and this time she accepts his proposal as she just wants to escape. Michael pays all her debts to the Duchess and brings her home. The man takes good care of her and even puts his mother's ring on her finger. Unlike other men, Michael appears to be genuinely in love and wants to keep her as his wife. However, Angel is still not ready for marriage, as she believes marriage is also a form of slavery. After witnessing his genuine care, she tried to repay him with favors, but Michael refused her offer. One day, Angel ran away while Michael was at work. When he returns home, he finds the ring on the table, which makes him upset, but soon he gets over and heads out to find Angel. After a bit of searching, he eventually found her and shows her two paths, one leading to the Duchess's and the other leading to her home. Then he rides away. Finally, she reverses her decision and returns to Michael. From that moment, Michael began engaging her in his regular work on the farm, and they started spending more time together. As Angel begins to enjoy his company, their relationship grows stronger day by day. She starts acting like his wife, and one day they made love. It was the first time Angel had a relationship with someone without expecting to be paid. Everything was working fine until one day a man named Paul showed up at their house. He is the husband of Michael's sister who passed away last year. Michael introduces him to his wife. Paul finds this surprising as he saw her in the brothel. He thinks Michael doesn't know about it, and Angel is taking advantage of him. He mistreats her and criticizes her for dating his brother-in-law. He informs everything to Michael, but this just frustrates him. Michael made him understand that he loves her besides her past and wants him to respect her. On the other side, Angel decided to run away and return to where she came from, believing she's not good for Michael. The next day, Angel asks Paul to drive her back to town. In the middle of their journey, he asks her to pay him in exchange for dropping her off. Angel didn't have money, so he asked her to pay in the another way, as he always fantasized about sleeping with her, but she was just too expensive. After receiving his payment, Paul is disgusted by her actions even more and hopes that she will never return. When she arrives in town, she discovers that the brothel has been burned and that 2 of her friends have lost their lives in the accident. Suddenly, a man approaches her and offers her a new job in his brothel. She accepts the offer, since she believes that as a prostitute, she can never be someone's wife. When Michael got to know about this, he rushed to bring her back and found her in a room with a customer. He fought with everyone to protect his girl and took her back. She felt a deep sense of shame at her uncleanness and tried to hurt herself. Fortunately, Michael arrived on time and stopped her. This time, he forgives her, and their relationship begins to blossom based on honesty and affection. One day, Michael comes across the Atman family. After seeing their broken cart, he offers some help and invites them to stay at his house until the cart gets repaired. The family consists of 4 members, a husband, a pregnant wife, and 2 daughters. The elder one is named Miriam. In a few days, the 2 families become friends and name their newborn Michael. While working on the farm, Angel reveals that she can't have babies because the brothel owner made her infertile. However, Michael remains optimistic and assures her that nothing is impossible, as she knew she could never give him the happiness of a child. So, she decides to leave Michael, but before leaving, she left a ring and a note for Miriam. In the note, she asked Miriam to marry Michael, believing that Miriam would be a better match for him. When Miriam found the note, she gets shocked and showed it to Michael, and this time, he let her go. Time moved on and Michael tried to live without Angel. Meanwhile, Angel got a job in a restaurant. But one day, Duke found her and took her back to the brothel. There, she saw a young girl who looked a lot like she did when she was young. Angel felt sad for the girl, as she did not want her to live the same painful life. Duke ordered Angel to dance in front of many people. But instead of dancing, Angel bravely spoke up and told everyone about his wrongdoings. He got frustrated and tried to hurt her, but someone stepped in and saved her. She then rescues the 2 little girls and leads them out of the building. The crowd got angry and hung Duke for his crimes. After 3 years, Paul visited San Francisco and met Angel in a school. There, she was living at the church and working as a cook. He approached her and asked for forgiveness for whatever he did to her. When she asked about Miriam, thinking she might be with Michael, he reveals that Miriam was his wife and Michael was still waiting for her. Angel gets surprised as she hadn't imagined someone could love her so deeply for so long. Before leaving, he gave her the address of his cart, which was leaving for the village at 4 p.m. This puts Angel in a dilemma as she still thinks Michael deserves someone better. But in the end, she decides to return. Eventually, the couple reunites and lives happily ever after. A few years later, we see the couple fishing with their baby boy, and Angel is pregnant with their second child. And this is how the story ends.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggestions for future movies, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.